Well, good morning, everybody. We have an eventful series of events today. I heard from a little birdie, I heard that Donald Trump was going to be giving a speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos in about 15 minutes. So here we are to react to it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be absolutely hilarious what Donald Trump says. Because no matter what he says, the way he says it is always hilarious in all circumstances. He's a very funny guy, okay? Even if you're a fanatical leftist, you cannot dispute that Donald Trump is a funny man. It's pure comedy. This whole administration is pure comedy. I do a belly laugh every day, at least one time, because of something Trump or the Trump administration has done. I'm having a blast with this. Anyway, so the speech starts in about 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and check out some stuff here. So I couldn't really find it on YouTube, but I was able to find it at The Hill. I hope The Hill is fine with me using their live stream to react to Trump. So we're going to watch it here on The Hill. Before we do that, and we got maybe about 15 minutes, we can start off and see who's reporting earnings today. Johnson & Johnson. I got it sorted by market cap. So Johnson & Johnson reports in the morning. Charles Schwab does as well. Prologis, I think that's one of the largest REITs in America, if not the largest. TE Connectivity, never heard of that. Truist Financial Corporation, Kinder Morgan, the Travelers Insurance, Halliburton, Teledyne, and Citizens Financial. Okay, some of these I recognize, obviously, but man, I didn't realize. Are we already good? Are we already getting back into earnings season? This is crazy. Khaki, Ally, Knight Transportation. Are there any cloud stocks on here? Hold on. Bank of California. Okay. Yeah. I don't see any like popular YouTube stocks on here. I mean, you got the big daddies, Johnson & Johnson, but does anybody care about Johnson & Johnson? Does anybody get excited about that? Does anybody get excited about Charles Schwab? I don't know. Maybe some people do. And then tomorrow, man, yeah, well, it looks like we're getting back into earnings seasons here. Intel's reporting tomorrow night. Intel, my inkwell. And then on Friday, Moog. What is Moog? All right, let's go check out we still sharing. All right, let's go check out the market. Okay. We got 13 minutes till Giota starts, but he'll probably show up late or something. So crypto is down slightly, but nothing crazy. We got Dogecoin down 1.75%. Ethereum, 1.37%. Trump coin, 1%. Bitcoin, 0.5% down. Cardano, 0.5% down. XRP, down 0.36%. And Solana, down 0.36%. So crypto's doing okay today, okay? No catastrophic collapse in crypto yet. Bitcoin still, unfortunately, is a massive bubble, okay? I don't know where it ends. But it has sold off pretty significantly since its all-time highs. I mean, it peaked at 126,244 in, about October 2025? And now it's at 88. Hope it keeps going lower. All right, let's look at the indices. So we got QQQ down very slightly, 0.18%. S&P 500 down 0.1% in the pre-market. VTI basically flat. That's total U.S. So it says Dow Jones is down 1.76%. I'm pretty sure this isn't updating. So I may need to find a new ETF for this. But I don't think the Dow was down 1.76%. VT, the total world index, is up 0.04%. China is up 1.23% in the pre-market. Small caps are up slightly at 0.13%. And total international is up 0.51%. We already have a good start to the year with international, people. That's not a bad looking chart. That is not a bad looking chart, okay? Now, they did not, international did pretty crappy the last decade or so, but recently at least we've had some success there. Okay. All right, large tech. So Nvidia's up slightly, 0.36%. Tesla's flat. Apple's flat. Amazon's down a little bit, 0.28%. Meta's up slightly, 0.1% up. Google's down slightly, 0.75%. And Netflix. So Netflix just reported earnings, and I actually looked at them yesterday. And they were just the worst earnings in the world. I've never seen worse earnings in the world than Netflix, right? Just kidding. They seem to be okay. I don't know why it's sold off. I don't know if it has something to do with their all-cash acquisition they're trying to do for Warner Bros. Or if their guidance wasn't good. I don't know, okay? I don't know how Wall Street thinks. I'm just a dude in a clown suit trying to entertain you. But Netflix is down 7.5% in the pre-market. Ooh, it's over, boyo. Let's see the run. Wow, Netflix is kind of selling off a little bit, though. Yeah. Yeah, it ran all the way to a high of 132 per share, and it's sold off all the way to 87. I mean, if you had timed that good, if you sold it in the 120s, 130s, I congratulate you. But, I mean, it's gone through an epic rally. I mean, it had a low of $17.55 a share. Okay, it's allowed to sell off a little bit. Anyway, so large tech, basically flat, except for Netflix, which is down 7.5%. YouTuber stocks. We're going to sort it from, not price, percentage. All right, so let's see. Anything jumping out here? Basically, everything's basically flat. High Tide is up 5.5% in the pre-market. I mean, it's got a long way to go, but it's up a little bit. Ionic's up 1%. Duolingo. This is Joseph Carlson. Oh, Joseph. Every time he deviates from large cap tech, he can't he doesn't do well, or usually. I mean, he did do Texas Roadhouse, I guess, but he's such a closet indexer. Anyway, Duolingo is just, that is not a pretty chart there. That is total annihilation. Now, at some point it may have value, but then again, I mean, if AI really disrupts this company, it could go down a lot more. So that's a little scary. All right, we got Dutch Bros is flat. Palantir's down very slightly, 0.28%. SoFi's up slightly, 0.29%. Rigetti's up a little bit, 0.8%. Robinhood's selling off a percentage. Let's see. PayPal's been getting cooked recently. I mean, absolutely annihilated. Maybe I should increase. I have 4 shares of PayPal. Maybe I should buy one more. In solidarity for all the PayPal shills that are getting clapped right now. Yeah, PayPal's like almost, is this an all-time low? It's close to an all-time low. The all-time low, at least for the past like 5 years, was $50.27. Now we're flirting with 54 right now. So I don't know. Could get brutal. All right, let's look at treasury yields. Do we have treasury yields on here? I thought I had that on here somewhere. I guess we can just look at bonds. Okay. So TLT selling off very slightly, 0.13%. BND, that's the like intermediate term bonds, basically up very slightly. And SGov is flat as normal. All right, so that's pretty much it for the market open. Or the basics of the pre-market. We're going to go ahead and wait until the God Emperor does his speech at Davos. And we are going to laugh, and we are going to laugh, and we are going to laugh. Okay? In the meantime, we will do member-only comments and take requests. Welcome back to the membership. Hello, world. How's it going, bro? Rise and shine, pay pigs. That's right. Oh, Daddy got up at 7:30, and I felt so good. I mean, I was a little tired, but I felt so good when I didn't have a headache from apple juice. Looks like Inkwell was a great bet. They're unscathed and keep pushing through. Will today be the day my silver short pays? I don't know. What's silver doing? Hold on a minute. We forgot to look at commodities here. Commodities. Silver's down 0.09%, Gil. Gold still going up 2.26% in the pre-market. All-time highs. Everything's all-time highs except for oil, I guess. Okay, I see what Webull does. So basically, it finds the high. Wherever you zoom out, it finds the high, and it tells you what it is. Okay. Learned something today. So, yes, silver's flat, basically. Gold's still ripping up a little bit. I don't know, Gil. We'll see what the God Emperor has to say. I'm sure he's been watching my channel, and he's going to make sure that you don't lose money. Let's see. Yeah, Netflix is tied up trying to pay all cash for Warner Bros. Also, they didn't increase the bid. They just said all cash. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a good idea for them to buy it. I don't know. I mean, I guess they get a bunch of new licenses, so maybe it'll be worth it. But we'll just have to see. I mean, Netflix has been doing extremely well recently, but sometimes companies get into trouble when they make bad acquisitions. Trump says one thing and silver can collapse. I would actually argue Trump could say one thing and silver could soar. Depending on what he says, I'm telling you, depending on what he says, you could have one result or the other. And you fools missed out on the easiest short ever. You're not a fool by not shorting. Let's see. Somebody says, have I considered adding my audio to Spotify? I don't even know how I would do that, being perfectly honest. Let's say it is. It will need a pullback before it can hit 120. Or is that what your numerology told you? Paramount is the one who increased the bid in cash and stock, and Larry Ellison said he would guarantee the purchase and handle the debt load. Man, I didn't know there could be so much drama in the movie industry or in the movie production industry. Oh my God, hostile takeover, MG. I just don't care enough about movies and stuff. Like, people a lot of people like Marvel. They're obsessed with Marvel and superheroes. I just don't care. Okay, I have zero interest in Ant-Man. I have zero interest in Spider-Man. I just don't care. But you got they're super popular apparently. All right. Hopefully this Davos thing starts soon. Let's see. Let's read the article here. Let's go check out the article and then we'll wait and we will react to the God Emperor once he starts speaking. All right. Oh, who's this? I want this judge right here. Are we sharing? Yeah, we're sharing. Trump gives speech in Davos amid Greenland push. President Trump will give a speech Wednesday morning. Let's double check. Is it Wednesday morning? It is Wednesday morning. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, bringing him face-to-face with European allies as tensions build over his push to acquire Greenland. While Trump is likely to tout how his policies have made the U.S. economy stronger, the high-stakes meeting could play a significant role in determining the future of Washington's involvement in the Danish territory. He's like, as I speak, we have 3 carrier battle groups heading to Denmark or heading to Greenland. I think silver would go ballistic. Not in the way that Gil wants it. He is expecting to talk with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and other allies during his trip after threatening over the weekend to slap tariffs on nations that do not support his administration's takeover of the Arctic island. The president is also waiting for answers from many world leaders on who will join his board of peace. The board of peace? What is the board of peace? Somebody told me about this yesterday. I got to check it out later. Peace, bro. The address is scheduled to begin at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Oh, my God. We're almost there. All right. Well, I'm going to keep that on mute because I don't want to listen to the stupid freaking music. All right. Let me see. I will check out my YouTube comments while we're waiting. Oh, God. Why So Bluetooth says, you seem like a Conan fan. Conan the Barbarian. You ever watch Conan the Barbarian with Arnold from back in the day? I did not. I was scared of the snake. Okay. Wasn't there a scene where there was this massive snake? I was absolutely terrified. No, thank you. I am not a snake enjoyer. Okay. Let me see. Hopefully this starts soon. I'm a little paranoid. This might have been broken or something. Here, I'm going to refresh this. Refresh. Hello? Did this thing freeze up on me? What's going on here? Okay. Here, I'm going to put in my first nicotine pouch of the day. I've got 4 of them left, including the one I just popped in. I need to go restock. All right, this thing froze. Nope, nothing yet. Boring. All right, well, I guess we'll do comments a little bit more. We'll catch him as soon as he starts going live. I'll keep checking. So no, I didn't like Conan because I was scared of the. No. I used to have a massive fear of large snakes, like anacondas, just like the deepest, darkest terror of large snakes. Small ones, I don't care, but the ones that can actually eat you whole, I have that like ancient primordial fear of large snakes. I mean, I've kind of started to get over it, as I get older, but I would just go in complete panic if I saw a large snake. It's my one weakness. Somebody's going to send one after me now. Wow, so early, strongman. Don't you need to go to work? I'm unemployed, bro. I don't have a job. I'm just a loser now. Yep, I quit my job. I guess when was my last day? About a week ago. Yes, okay, let me double check. I quit my job. My last day was the 9th of January. And then the full next week, I was doing Army stuff. So I couldn't really do much with YouTube. And then this week is kind of like my first week of actually doing YouTube and tax and whatever full time. So yes, I am unemployed. He quit his job. That is correct. Should have done it a year ago. He would have been as big as Asmongold right now. I just wasn't ready, man. I didn't feel like I was ready financially. Now I feel very ready. I feel extremely ready. And I didn't know how good my tax business was going to do last year. I didn't know, because the first year I did tax, I made like $7,000 in revenue. So I was kind of expecting roughly the same for the next tax season. And then the next tax season, I got like 21,000 of revenue. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm growing pretty fast. If I double that again, that's like 42,000 or even more for the next year. But I didn't know what my revenue was going to be last year. So I didn't have the confidence that I could make enough money doing taxes to quit my job last year. So once I figured that out, I said, okay, well, I'll just stay at my job until next tax season. And right before tax season, I'll quit my job. And in the meantime, while I'm getting ready to quit, I will start saving heavily into treasuries. And it all worked out perfectly. I have like 92,000 in treasuries. I think tax season's going to go well. We'll see. That was the plan. But no, last year was too early. Too early. He's a bit too late. Yeah, if I'd started a year ago, I'd be Asmongold already. Has the withdrawal kicked in since you don't have to go to work anymore? No, I feel like I'm working, dude. I've been on a strict routine. I was pretty freaking tired last night. I got up yesterday. I did the morning live stream. I did the Daily Clown Report. Then I did the closing live stream. And then I did the e-begging stream. I was pretty busy, yes. This keeps me busy. So I know if I don't keep myself busy, I'm just going to lay in bed and play RuneScape. And I cannot do that. I can't do that. Just filled in the time with tax work now. That's what I did yesterday. I mean, I was able to get all these emails out, and I was able to look into clients' documents a little bit and not feel rushed. Last tax season, I was just constantly rushed because I just didn't have time. I was at work. I had my kids. I had maybe 3 hours a day. It was at night, of course, to do people's freaking taxes. Now it's I got all the time in the world. Strawman, did you see XXI stock I sent you? Hilarious. No. What is that? All right, let's go check. Is Trump late for his speech? Let me see if anybody else is playing it. I'll go look at Meat Breath. Let's see what Meat Breath is doing. Wow. We'll look at Meat Breath on here. Meet Kevin. What's old Smoker doing right now? The money war just started. This is bad. I guess he's not live. Or does he have a live channel? Did he have a live channel? All right, let's go check out X. Let's see if he's streaming it anywhere else. Good. Oh my God, I'm panicking. Oh, hold on. All right, we still got the volume on. Okay, Trump's coming. Oh.
Especially in pivotal moments, is one reason I think he values economic. It is a unique institution that brings together the largest combination of government officials, business leaders, technology leaders, civil society and NGO leaders, anywhere in the world for a genuine dialogue.
Is this Larry Fink? Is this the BlackRock CEO?
Importantly, this year. Thankfully, this group is meeting under better economic circumstances than during the pandemic.
Volume's too low.
Again, we're forcing very serious different economic conditions around the world. One of the essential challenges that is impacting me is how capitalism can benefit more, and how can we broaden.
Is it still too low? I mean, because it's turned up to max.
That is a question where the president has shown real leadership through investing in infrastructure, reducing barriers to growth, and initiatives like the Trump account, designed to give more Americans a direct stake in the growth of the U.S. economy.
Trump accounts, bro. I'm not opening one. Their tax benefits aren't that great.
For 2026 and beyond, and will no doubt create more and more conversation. And that's what the forum is about.
All right. Well, okay. Let me try to find another freaking video that's louder, because that's the max volume. So let me see if I can find one. Give me a second. Yeah, have patience, guys. I'm sorry it wasn't loud. Let's see. Maybe Larry Fink's just a soy boy, and he doesn't have a lot of he's not manly enough to speak loud. And, you know, funny enough, there's all these scam freaking speeches on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, they have all these live speeches of Trump, but they're from last year. All right. Videos. Yeah. Maybe Al Jazeera will be better. Such a pain in the ass. All right, let's keep it on here for now. We'll keep it on this one for now while I try to find another one on my phone, and then I'll pull it up.
And virtually impenetrable. And the United States is in the midst of the fastest and most dramatic economic turnaround in our country's history. Under the Biden administration, America was plagued by the nightmare of stagflation, meaning low growth and high inflation, a recipe for misery, failure, and decline. But now,
that's because of the pandemic.
1 year of my policies, we are witnessing the exact opposite. Virtually no inflation and extraordinarily high economic growth.
Inflation was coming down,
I believe,
regardless.
very shortly, our country has never seen before, perhaps no country has ever seen before. Over the past 3 months, core inflation has been just 1.6%. Meanwhile, fourth quarter growth is projected to be 5.4%, far greater than
Holy
other than
crap.
and a few others had predicted.
Is that true?
Since the election, the stock market has set 52 all-time high records. So that's in 1 year, 52 records, adding $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, 401ks.
He said 5.4%. That's insane.
People are doing very well. They're very happy with
Or maybe he's quoting nominal.
Since my inauguration, we've lifted more than 1.2 million people off of food stamps. And after 4 years in which Biden secured less than $1 trillion of new investment in our country, think of that, 1 trillion, substantially less than that. In 4 years, we've secured commitments for a record-breaking $18 trillion, and we think when the final numbers come out, they'll be closer to $20 trillion of investment. That's never been done by any country at any time, not even close.
The magic of tariffs, bro.
Just over 1 year ago, under the radical left Democrats, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. In fact, the United States economy is on pace to grow at double the rate that was projected by the IMF just last April. And with my growth and tariff policies, it should be much higher. I really believe we can be much higher than that.
10%, 15%.
Great news, and it's great for all.
I mean,
nations.
if that's accurate, that's actually, I
USA
think that's
is the
higher than
economic
China's
engine on the
GDP
planet.
growth,
And when America
5.4%.
booms, the entire world booms. It's been the history. When it goes bad, it goes bad. You all follow us down, and you follow us up, and we're at a point that I don't believe we've ever been. I never thought we could do it this quickly. My biggest surprise is I thought it would take more than a year, maybe like a year and 1 month. It happened very quickly.
He's so
afternoon, I want to
silly.
discuss how we've achieved this economic miracle, how we intend to raise living standards for our citizens to levels never seen before, and perhaps how you too and the places where you come from can do much better by following what we're doing, because certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And
Deport them all.
Friends come back from different places. I don't want to insult anybody and say I don't recognize it. And that's not in a positive way. That's in a very negative way. And I love Europe, and I want to see Europe go good. But it's not.
I love Europe too. I think it's sad what's happening there, bro.
Decades it
Crazy.
became conventional wisdom in Washington and European capitals that the only way to grow a modern Western economy was through ever-increasing government spending, unchecked mass migration, and endless foreign imports. The consensus was that so-called dirty jobs and heavy industry should be sent elsewhere, that affordable energy should be replaced by the Green New Scam. And the countries could be propped up by importing new and entirely different populations from faraway lands. This was the path that Sleepy Joe Biden administration and many other Western governments very foolishly followed, turning
Trump,
their
we got to get
backs
those
on
birth rates up for the
everything
natives.
that makes
What are we
nations
going to do
rich
about
and
that?
powerful and strong. And there's so
What are
much
we going to do?
potential in so many nations. The result was record budget and trade deficits and a growing sovereign deficit driven by the largest wave of mass migration in human history. We've never seen anything like it. Quite frankly, many
Open
parts
borders,
of our
bro.
world are being destroyed before our very eyes, and the leaders don't even understand what's happening. And the ones that do understand aren't doing anything about it. Virtually all of the so-called experts predicted my plans to end this failed model would trigger a global recession and runaway inflation. But we have proven them wrong. It's actually just the opposite. In 1 year, our agenda has
Oh, you mean the
produced a
experts are
transformation like
actually
America has not
biased and
seen in
liars?
over 100
No
years.
way.
Instead of closing down energy plants, we're opening them up. Instead of building ineffective, money-losing windmills, we're taking them down and not approving any. Instead of empowering bureaucrats, we're firing them. And they're going out and getting jobs in the private sector for 2 and 3 times what they were making in government. So they started off hating me when we fired them.
I don't
Now
think
they love
that's
me.
true because a lot of government
Instead of
employees
raising
have
taxes
no
on
skills.
domestic producers,
So if they got
we're
fired,
lowering them
they would be
and
screwed.
raising tariffs on foreign nations to pay for the damage that they've caused. In 12 months, we have removed over 270,000 bureaucrats from the federal payrolls, the largest single-year reduction in government employment since the end of World War II.
I was so happy when he did
Nobody
that.
thought that was coming.
They are
We had no choice
100%
to
right
make the
about that.
country great.
100%
You can't
right.
have all federal jobs. We've cut federal spending by $100 billion and slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in the single year. It's going to go down quite a bit more from that, driving inflation way down from the record highs of the Biden administration. Every month,
It was coming down
it went
anyway.
up and up and up. I promised to cut 10 old regulations for every single new regulation. But instead, I've cut actually till this point 129 regulations for every one new regulation approved. So every time they come in with a new regulation, we do at least 10, but so far it's averaging out to 129, if you can believe it. In July, we passed the largest tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
That's not
We
true.
also provided 100%
Right? You're still taxed on
expensing.
Social
That's
Security.
the
You
one
just get
they
an
like.
additional deduction.
And bonus depreciation for all new equipment and capital investments to help companies expand and shift production to America. They are so in love with that. They build a plant, they're able to deduct it immediately, the whole thing, rather than waiting 38 to 41 years in the old days. This is a miracle taking place. Nobody thought it would ever be done by any country, but it's done by us. It was what made my first term the most successful 4-year term that we've ever had from a financial standpoint. And now we've upped it. This is a 10-year program, not a 1-year program. But you're allowed to deduct everything in 1 year. It used to be 38 to 41 years. With tariffs, we've radically reduced our ballooning trade deficit, which is the largest in world history. We were losing more than $1 trillion every single year, and it was just wasted.
We weren't losing
Going
$1 trillion. People were
But
making
in 1
stuff
year, I
for us,
slashed our
and we
monthly
paid them in
trade
dollars
deficit
for
by
it.
a staggering 77%. And all this with no inflation, something everyone said could not be done. There were a couple of brilliant people that actually thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was doing the right thing. Now they all think I'm doing the right thing because they can't believe the numbers. American exports are now up by more than $150 billion. Domestic steel production is up by 300,000 tons a month, and it's doubling over the next 4 months. It's doubling and tripling. And we have steel plants being built all over the country. Nobody thought they'd see that.
You think he's going to
Factory
mention
construction
Doge
is
dividend
up by
checks?
41%, and that number is really going to skyrocket right now because that's during a process that they're putting in to get their approvals, and we've given very, very quick, fast approvals.
Someone says your check is in
process,
Argentina.
We've made historic trade deals with partners covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Some of the greatest companies and countries in the world. We have countries as our partner too. The European nations, Japan, South Korea. They're our partners. They've gone into massive deals with us, especially on oil and gas. And these agreements raise growth and cause stock markets to boom, not only in the U.S., but virtually every country that came to make a deal because, as you've learned, when the United States goes up, you follow. It's really
They've actually gone up more because the
staple.
dollar's been
In America,
devalued.
I've stopped the
relative to other
nation-wrecking
currencies.
energy policies that
That's why
drive up
DXUS
prices
did
while
so well.
sending jobs and factories to the world's worst polluters. They are indeed polluters. Under sleepy Joe Biden, new domestic oil and gas leases fell by 95%. Think of that. And they wonder, why was gasoline going up so fast? The gasoline actually topped $5 a gallon, in some places $7 a gallon, and more than 100 major power plants were violently shut down by incompetent people that had no idea.
They were violently
what the
shut
hell they were
down.
Under my leadership, U.S. natural gas production is at an all-time high by far. U.S. oil production is up by 730,000 barrels a day. And last week we picked up 50 million barrels from Venezuela alone. Venezuela
bragging about it.
an amazing.
We found more barrels in
place
Venezuela.
for
We
so
just
many
stole their
years, but then they
president.
went bad with their policies. 20 years ago, it was a great country, and now it's got problems, but we're helping them. And those 50 million barrels, we're going to be splitting up with them, and they'll be making more money than they've made in a long time. Venezuela is going to do fantastically well. We appreciate all of the cooperation we've been with them, and they'll be making more money than they've made in a long time. Venezuela is going to do fantastically well. We appreciate all of the cooperation we've been giving.
How's volume now?
We've been giving great cooperation. Once the attack ended, and they said, let's make a deal. More people should do that.
Once we stole their president.
Venezuela is going to make more money in the next 6 months than they've made in the last 20 years. Every major oil company is coming in with us. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing to see. The leadership of the country has been very good. They've been very, very smart. The price of gasoline is now below $2.50 a gallon in many states, $2.30 a gallon in most states. Then we'll soon be averaging less than $2 a gallon. In many places, it's already down even lower, $1.95 a gallon. Numerous states are at $1.99, numbers that nobody has heard for years.
Not in this state.
Actually, since my last administration, we got it down to around those numbers. I've signed an order directing and approval of many new nuclear reactors. We're going heavy into nuclear. I was not a big fan because I didn't like the risk, the danger. But they have the progress they've made with nuclear is unbelievable. And the safety progress they've made is incredible. We're very much into the world of nuclear energy. And we can have it now at good prices and very, very safe. And we're leading the world in AI by a lot. We're leading China by a lot. I think President Xi respects what we've done, in part because I've allowed these big companies building these massive buildings to build their own electric capacity. They're building their own power plants, which when added up is more than any country anywhere in the world is doing. I read recently an article in the Wall Street Journal that China's creating so much energy, and they are. I got to hand it to them. But we're creating as much or more, and we're letting them do that. I'm very proud of it. It was my idea.
No, I
We
think
can't create this much energy. We needed
energy production.
more than double the energy currently in the country just to take care of the AI plants. And I said, we can't do that. We have an old grid system. And I came up with the idea, you people are brilliant. You have a lot of money. Let's see what you can do. You can build your own electric generating plants. And they looked at me. They didn't believe me. All of the names that are really, I think, in the room right now, if you want to know the truth, they didn't believe it. And I said, no, you can't. They came back 2 weeks and they didn't have the plant. They said, 2 weeks. I always say nuclear will take 3 weeks. But most aren't going that. They're going oil and gas. They're even going coal in some cases. Because of my landslide election victory, the United States avoided the catastrophic energy collapse, which befell every European nation that pursued the Green New Scam.
I think they
Perhaps
had
the
more to
greatest
do with
hoax in
Russia.
history.
And
The Green New
Ukraine.
Scam, windmills all over the place, destroy your land. Every time that goes around, you lose $1,000. You're supposed to make money with
You're the
energy, not
laughing-
lose money. Here in Europe, we've seen the fate that the radical left tried to impose on America. They tried very hard. Germany now generates 22% less electricity than it did in 2017. And it's not the current chancellor's fault. He's solving the problem. He's going to do a great job. But what they did before he got there, I guess that's why he got there. And electricity prices are 64% higher. The United Kingdom produces just 1/3 of the total energy from all sources that it did in 1999. Think of that, 1/3. And they're sitting on top of the North Sea, one of the greatest reserves anywhere in the world, but they don't use it. And that's one reason why their energy has reached catastrophically low levels with equally high prices. High prices, very low levels.
Greta
Think of that,
Thunberg said we have to
1/3.
save the planet, bro.
And you're sitting on top of the North Sea, and they like to say, well, that's depleted. It's not depleted. It's got 500 years. They haven't even found the oil. The North Sea is incredible. They don't let anybody drill. Environmentally, they don't let them drill. They make it impossible for the oil companies to go. They take 92% of the revenues. So the oil companies say, we can't do it. They came to see me. Is there anything you can do? I want Europe to do great. I want UK to do great. They're sitting on one of the greatest energy sources in the world, and they don't use it. In fact, their electricity prices have soared 139%. There are windmills all over Europe. There are windmills all over the place, and they are losers. One thing I've noticed is that the more windmills a country has, the more money that country loses and the worse that country is doing. China makes almost all of the windmills, and yet I haven't been able to find any wind farms in China. Did you ever think of that? It's a good way of looking at it. They're smart. China's very smart. They make them, they sell them for a fortune. They sell them to the stupid people that buy them, but they don't use them themselves. They put up a couple of big wind farms, but they don't use them. They just put them up to show people what they could look like. They don't spin. They don't do anything. They use a thing called coal mostly. But China goes with the coal. They go with oil and gas. They're starting to look at nuclear a little bit, and they're doing just fine. They make a fortune selling the windmills, though, and I think really that's one that they wouldn't be surprised if it stopped. They are shocked that it continues to go. They're very friendly with me. They're shocked that people continue to buy those damn things. They killed the birds. They ruin your landscapes. Other than that, I think they're fabulous, by the way. Stupid people buy them. The consequences of such destructive policies have been stark, including lower economic growth, lower standards of living, lower birth rates, more socially disruptive migration, more vulnerability to hostile foreign adversaries, and much, much smaller militaries. The United States cares greatly about the people of Europe. We really do. I mean, look, I am derived from Europe, Scotland and Germany.
Exactly. Yeah.
100% Scotland, my mother, 100% German, my father. And we believe deeply in the bonds we share with Europe. as a civilization.
Bound by
I want to see
blood.
it do great. That's why issues like energy, trade, immigration, and economic growth must be central concerns to anyone who wants to see a strong and united West, because Europe and those countries have to do their thing. They have to get out of the culture that they've created over the last 10 years. It's horrible what they're doing to themselves. They're destroying themselves. It's beautiful, beautiful places. We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones. We want Europe to be strong. Ultimately, these are matters of national security, and perhaps no current issue makes the
Someone says Trump's
situation
German
more clear.
beans.
Currently going on with Greenland. Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland?
Oh, here we
I leave it
go.
out of the speech, but I think I would have been
Here we go.
reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II, when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory, and hold it we did at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now, you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps.
I mean, the Soviets helped.
After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. And we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights.
We had
Press
that
the trigger, and
report
nothing
that
happened.
a weapon that disabled them.
No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory. It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. You know, when we gave it back,
America,
it
not
wasn't
China.
the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, you know, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places, there's no rare earth, no such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth.
And you know who does that?
To get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere. And we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. You know, for 2 centuries, they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but they had a different president. That's all right. People think differently. Much more necessary now than it was at that time, however. In 2019, Denmark said that they would spend over $200 million to strengthen Greenland's defenses.
That's
As
nothing.
you know, they spent less than 1% of that amount. 1%. There's no sign of Denmark there. And I say that with great respect for Denmark, whose people I love, whose leaders are very good. It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it and improve it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us. And that's the reason I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States, just as we have acquired many other territories throughout our history, as many of the European nations have. They've acquired, there's nothing wrong with it. Many of them, some went in reverse, actually, if you look. Some had great, vast wealth, great, vast lands all over the world. They went in reverse. They're stuck back where they started. That happens too.
Decolonization.
But this would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that. And when you think about it, nobody can dispute it. We give so much and we get so little in return. And I've been a critic of NATO for many years. And yet I've done more to help NATO than any other president by far, than any other person. You wouldn't have NATO if I didn't get involved in my first term. The war with Ukraine is an example. We are thousands of miles away, separated by a giant ocean. It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
Oh, uh-oh.
It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. You can't have rigged elections. You need strong borders, strong elections, and ideally a good press. I always say
You blame every election
strong
that he
borders,
loses, rigged election.
strong elections, free, fair elections, and a fair media. The media is terrible. It's very crooked. It's very biased, terrible. But someday it'll straighten out because it's losing all credibility. Think of it. When I went in a landslide, a giant landslide, won all 7 swing states, won the popular vote, won everything.
That was crazy.
And I only get
Republicans
negative
usually
press.
don't win the popular
That
vote.
means that it has no credibility. And if they're going to get credibility, they're going to have to be fair. So you need a fair press. But you also need those other elements. And I inherited a terrible, terrible situation. If you look, the border was open. The inflation was raging. Everything was bad with the United States when I came into office. But I also inherited a mess with Ukraine and Russia, something that would have never happened. And I know Putin very well. He and I would discuss Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, but he wasn't going to do anything. I said, Vladimir, you're not doing it. He would never have done it. It was terrible what happened. I could see it happening too. After I left, I could see it happening. Biden had given Ukraine and NATO $350 billion, a staggering sum, $350 billion. I came in and just like the southern border, just like inflation, just like our economy, I said, wow, this place is in trouble, meaning our country. All of these things were out of control. But the border was out of control. We fixed it with the strongest border anywhere in the world. And I've now been working on this war for 1 year, during which time I settled 8 other wars. India, Pakistan. I settled other wars that were.
Complain about the Nobel Peace
Vladimir
Prize.
Putin called me Armenia, Azerbaijan, He said, I can't believe you settled that one. They were going on for 35 years. I settled it in one day. And President Putin called me. He said, you know, I can't believe I worked on that war for 10 years trying to settle it. I couldn't do it. I said, do me a favor, focus on settling your war. Don't worry about that one. What does the United States get out of all of this work, all of this money, other than death, destruction, and massive amounts of cash going to people who don't appreciate what we do? They don't appreciate what we do. Talking about NATO, I'm talking about
NATO
Europe.
sounds like a bunch of women. You give
They
them
have to
money and they still
work
complain.
on Ukraine. We don't. The United States is very far
Gotta
away.
tell them
We
no.
have a big, beautiful ocean separating us. We have nothing to do with it. Until I came along, NATO was only supposed to pay 2% of GDP, but they weren't paying. Most of the countries weren't paying anything. The United States was paying for virtually 100% of NATO. And I got that stopped. I said, that's not fair. But then more importantly, I got NATO to pay 5%, and now they were paying, and now they are paying. So something nobody said was possible. They said, we will never go up higher than 2%. But they went to 5%, and now they're paying the 5. They didn't pay the 2, and now they're paying the 5. And they're stronger for it, and they have an excellent, by the way, Secretary General, who's possibly in the room. Mark, are you here? Yes, he's here. Hello, Mark. We never asked for anything, and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force, where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland, where we already had it as a trustee, but respectfully returned it back to Denmark not long ago after we defeated the Germans, the Japanese, the Italians, and others in World War II. We gave it back to them. We were a powerful force then, but we are a much more powerful force now. After I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so today, we have a budget of $1.5 trillion. We're bringing back battleships.
400,000 for America.
Battleship is 100 times more powerful than the great battleships you saw in World War II, those great, big, gorgeous ships, the Missouri, the Iowa, the Alabama. Because I thought maybe we could take them out of mothballs. They said, no, sir, these ships are 100, think of that, 100 times more powerful than those big, magnificent pieces of art that you saw so many times ago, that you still see on television. You say, wow, what a force. 100 times, each ship 100 times more powerful than the big battleships of the past. So that was the end of the mothball story. So what we have gotten out of NATO is nothing except to protect Europe from the Soviet Union and now Russia. I mean, we've helped them for so many years. We've never gotten anything, except we pay for NATO. And we paid for many years until I came along. I mean, we paid for, in my opinion, 100% of NATO because they weren't paying their bills. And all we're asking for is to get Greenland, including right title and ownership, because you need the ownership to defend it. You can't defend it on a lease. Number one, legally it's not defensible that way, totally. And number two, psychologically, who the hell wants to defend a license agreement or a lease, which is a large piece of ice in the middle of the ocean where if there is a war, much of the action will take place on that piece of ice. Think of it. Those missiles would be flying right over the center of that piece of ice. All we want from Denmark for national and international security and to keep our very energetic and dangerous potential enemies at bay is this land on which we're going to build the greatest golden dome ever built. We're building a golden dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us. By the way, they should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us.
Bunch
Canada,
of chicks. Bunch of
Canada
chicks.
lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements. What we did for Israel was amazing, but that's nothing compared to what we have planned for the United States, Canada, and the rest of the world. We are going to build a dome like no other. We did it. We did it for Israel. And by the way, I told Bibi, stop taking credit for the dome. That's our technology. That's our stuff. But they had a lot of courage, and they were good fighters, and they did a good job, and we wiped out the Iran nuclear threat like nobody can believe. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. That, Venezuela, taking down Soleimani, wiping out al-Baghdadi when he tried to reinstitute ISIS. We did a lot. I did a lot of big things, all perfectly executed. Everyone was perfectly executed. Somebody told me that, a military expert told me, sir, everything you've done has been perfectly executed. I said, I know. So other presidents have spent, whether foolishly or not, trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO and gotten absolutely nothing in return. We've never asked for anything. It's always a one-way street. Now they want us to help them with Ukraine. And let me say, we're going to. I'm really helping, not even them. I want to see, last week, if you saw.
Huh? Hello? Did we just lose the stream? Or did my internet go out? Hold on a minute. Oh boy. Did we lose our God Emperor here? One second. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else. I don't know if we lost it or what, or if my internet. All right, maybe it's my internet. Can you guys even hear me? Can you post in the comments if you can hear me at all? Maybe it's my internet. I need to get this. I don't know what the heck's going on. It was working freaking crap. All right, hold on. Oh my God. I pay $70 a month for this nonsense. One second. Come on. I probably missed the most important thing. All right, here we go. I think we're back.
What I'm asking for is a piece of ice, cold and poorly located, that can play a vital role in world peace and world protection. It's a very small ask compared to what we have given them for many, many decades. But the problem with NATO is that we'll be there for them 100%. But I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. If we gave them the call, gentlemen, we are being attacked. We're under attack by such and such a nation. I know them all very well. I'm not sure that they'd be there. I know we'd be there for them. I don't know that they'd be there for us. So with all of the money we expend, with all of the blood, sweat, and tears, I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you. I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money. But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up.
Iceland made the
And we
stock
have
market
an unbelievable future in that stock. That stock market is going to be doubled.
How did that happen?
we're going to hit 50,000, and that stock market's going to double in a relatively short period of time.
I think he's talking about
because
the
of
Dow.
everything that's happening.
Dow is not.
But this is a good example. After giving NATO and European nations trillions and trillions of dollars in defense, they buy our weapons. We make the greatest weapons in the world, but now we're going to make them faster, much faster. You saw that. I put a cap on the salaries. Then I put no buybacks, no stock buybacks, no various other things that they were doing. I mean, they were making $50 million, but it would take them 3 years to give you a Patriot missile. I said, that's not good. My chauffeur can do a better job than that. And he makes slightly less than 50. They make big salaries. If they're going to make those big salaries, they're going to have to produce a lot faster. The good news is we have the greatest equipment in the world. Now we're going to start making it a lot faster. They're going to build additional plants. And all of the money that goes into stock buybacks is going to go into building plants. We're not allowing stock buybacks by defense companies any longer. They're going to build new plants to make Tomahawks, Patriots. We have the best equipment.
Basically, is
F-35s,
a fascist dictator.
F-47, the new one just coming out. They say it's the most devastating plane fighter jet ever. Who knows? They called it 47. If I don't like it, I'm going to take the 47 off it. I wonder why they called it 47. We'll have to think about that. But if I don't like it, I'm going to take that 47 off. But it's supposed to be the stage 6. It's supposed to be the first stage 6 plane, undetectable, like our B-2 bombers were undetectable. They flew right over Iran. They were undetectable. And they did their job, and they got the hell out of there. So we want a piece of ice for world protection, and they won't give it. We've never asked for anything else, and we could have kept that piece of land, and we didn't. So they have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
Oh.
A strong and secure America means a strong NATO. And that's one reason why I'm working every day to ensure our military is very powerful. Our borders are very strong. And above all, our economy is strong because national security requires economic security and economic prosperity. And we have the greatest that we've ever had. Biden and his allies destroyed our economy and gave us perhaps the worst inflation in American history. They say 48 years, I say forever, but I think 48 years is the equivalent to forever. Whether it's 48 years or
you're like in your late
ever,
70s, right?
it's terrible. Costing the typical family $33,000. What they did to this country should never, ever be forgotten. It's early, but he has to be rated as the worst president we've ever had by far. The auto pen did much of the damage. The auto pen, he was the auto pen president, because I don't believe a sane president would have ever signed the kind of things that he signed.
I mean, being
grocery
honest,
prices, energy prices, airfares, mortgage rates, rent, and car payments are all coming down, and they're coming down fast. We inherited a mess, but we've done a hell of a job in 12 months. Under my most favored nation policy for drug prices, the cost of prescription drugs is coming down by up to 90%, depending on the way you calculate. You could also say 5, 6, 7, 800%. There are two ways of figuring that. But we have a favored nations policy that every president wanted, no president was able to get. I got it, and other nations approved it. And I had to use tariffs in order to get it because they said, no way. In other words, a pill that costs 10% in London costs $130. Think it costs $10 in London, costs $130 in New York or in Los Angeles. And I'd say, boy, that's bad. Friends of mine would say, we go to London, you can buy the stuff for nothing. We go all over the world, we can buy it for nothing. Because basically America was subsidizing every nation in the world because presidents allowed them to get away with it. It became very tough. So when I called up Emmanuel Macron, I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell happened?
If you wear sunglasses indoors, you're a douche.
But I watched him sort of be tough. but he was at $10 for a pill. And I said, Emmanuel, and I have all the big pharmaceutical companies are in total agreement. It wasn't easy, by the way. They're tough, smart. They've been getting away with the scam for a long time, but they gave it up. But they said, you'll never get the countries to approve it. I said, why is that? Because they won't. They always said, we're not paying any more. Get the rest for the United States. So over the years, they stayed the same. We just went up, up, up. And I mean, we would pay 13, 14, 15 times more than some certain countries would. So I said, no, they'll approve it 100%. Sir, you'll never get them to approve it. I said, I guarantee you. But I actually started with Emmanuel, who probably is in the room too. And I like him. I actually like him. Hard to believe, isn't it? And I said, Emmanuel, you're going to have to lift the price of that pill.
Nobody compares to Trump for
to
copper.
$20, maybe $30. Think of that. That's
Hilarious.
That means it's a doubling of prescription drugs. Might be a tripling, might be a quadrupling. It's not easy. No, Donald, I will not do that. I said, yes, you will, 100%. He said, no. You're asking me to double. I said, Emmanuel, you've been taking advantage of the United States for 30 years with prescription drugs. You really should do it, and you will do it. I have no doubt. In fact, I am 100% sure you're going to. No, I will not do it. Because yes, in all fairness, Jim, he has to double or triple. Because the world being a bigger place than the United States, it's not that you meet in the middle. You just have to go up some, and we come down a lot. They go up a little, we come down a lot. So we're at $130. They're at 10. So they may have to go to 20 or 30. No more than that. I said, Emmanuel, you're going to be doubling or tripling? No. I said, here's the story, Emmanuel. The answer is you're going to do it. You're going to do it fast. And if you don't, I'm putting a 25% tariff on everything that you sell into the United States and a 100% tariff on your wines and champagnes. And that's about 10 times more than what I'm requesting.
He is Big Daddy.
And you're going to do it. I don't want to go public with it, but you may make me do that. No, Donald, I will do it. I will do it. It took me, on average, 3 minutes a country saying the same thing. You will do it. They all said, no, I will not do it. You're asking me to double the cost of prescription. I said, that's right, because you've been screwing us
for
30 years.
This is called masculine
And
energy.
they said, we will not do it. I said,
Masculine
"That's all
energy
right."
is when you speak
On
the
Monday
truth
morning, we're
and you have
putting
power.
25, 30, 50. I
that
gave
power.
different numbers for
Get what you want.
different
It's called being
countries.
a man.
This is also
Aren't used
national
to this.
security
That's
we're talking
feminine.
about.
You're used to
Not
feminine
fair. We're not
energy.
going to subsidize the whole world.
Trump is a giga chad.
And every one of those countries have agreed to do it. So one of the biggest things that I've done is the fact that we have now most favored nation. We will pay whatever the lowest price is in the entire world. So our drug prices are going to be coming down by staggering 90%. Again, you could say 1,000%, 2,000%. Depends on what you want to figure it, but we'll go with the way the fake news likes it better because it sounds, can you imagine a 90% reduction sounds much worse. But drug prices are going to be coming down tremendously in all the nations, and I appreciate them doing it, but they did it. In all fairness, without tariffs, I wouldn't have been able to get it done. After declining $3,000 under Biden, real incomes are up in the United States by $2,000, $3,000, and even $5,000 and more. Home ownership has always been a symbol of health and vigor of American society, but that goal fell out of reach for millions and millions of people in the Biden era because interest rates went up so high. Today, I'm taking action to bring back this bedrock of the American dream. In recent years, Wall Street giants and institutional investment firms, many of you are here, many of you are good friends of mine, many of you are supporters. Sorry to do this to you, I'm so sorry. But you've driven up housing prices by purchasing hundreds of thousands of single-family homes, and it's been a great investment for them. Often as much as 10% of houses on the market. You know, the crazy thing is a person can't get depreciation on a house, but when a corporation buys it, they get depreciation. Okay, that's something we're going to have to think about too. I don't know if too many people think about that. You buy a corporation, they buy 500 houses, They buy hundreds of thousands. They buy 500 houses.
No
they can take depreciation.
for corporate
A
property.
person sweats and works and buys one house they can.
Wow.
Homes are built for people, not for corporations, and America will not become a nation of renters. We're not going to do that. That's why I have signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. It's just not fair to the public. They're not able to.
Of course,
buy
Kevin.
a house.
He'll
I'm calling on Congress to pass that ban into permanent law, and I think they will. One of the biggest barriers to saving for a down payment has been surging credit card debt. The profit margin for credit card companies now exceeds 50%, one of the biggest. And they charge Americans interest rates of 28%, 30%, 31%, 32%. Whatever happened to usury? So to help our citizens recover from the Biden disaster, all caused by this horrible president, I'm asking Congress to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year.
I think that's going to massively reduce how many credit cards
Americans save for a home. They have no idea they're paying 28%.
on
They go out there a little
debt.
late in their payment and they end up losing their house.
I think they're going to be a lot lower
terrible.
amount of credit cards.
To unleash innovation in savings and financing, I'm also working to ensure America remains the crypto capital of the world.
No.
And to that end, last year I signed the landmark Genius Act into law. Now Congress is working very hard on crypto market structure legislation, Bitcoin, all of them.
No.
Which I hope to sign very soon, unlocking new pathways for Americans to reach financial freedom. And I did it for two reasons. Number one, I thought it was politically good, and it was. I got tremendous political support. But more importantly, China wanted that market too. It's just like they want the AI. And we've got that market, I think, pretty well locked up. If I didn't do it, Biden was totally against it until before the election, when they realized
we started talking
that,
about crypto.
there were millions of people voting against them over
Everything just
crypto.
sounded so wonderful to
And
me.
all of a sudden they loved it very much, but it was too late. They blew it. But it is politically popular, but it's much more importantly, we have to make it so that China doesn't get the hold of it. And once they have that hold, we're not going to be able to get it back. So I'm honored to have done it. Finally, I've instructed government-backed institutions to purchase up to $200 billion in mortgage bonds to bring down interest rates. And I'll be announcing a new Fed chairman in the not too distant future. I think he'll do a very good job. See, I gave away some of it. He did give that away. So we have something, got something, but somebody that's very respected. They're all respected. They're all great. Everyone that I interviewed is great. Everyone could do, I think, a fantastic job. Problem is they change once they get the job. They do. They're saying everything I want to hear, and then they get the job. They're locked in for 6 years. They get the job, and all of a sudden, let's raise rates a little bit. I call them, sir, we'd rather not talk about this. It's amazing how people change once they have the job. It's too bad. Sort of disloyalty, but they got to do what they think is right. We have a terrible chairman right now, Jerome, too late Powell. He's always too late. And he's very late with interest rates, except before the election. He was just fine for the other side.
Oh.
So we're going to have somebody that's great, and we hope he does the right job. Last week, the average 30-year mortgage rate dropped below 6% for the first time in many years. Another major factor in driving up housing costs was the mass invasion of our borders. And I have to say one thing about housing, because nobody ever says this. I am very protective of people that already own a house, of which we have millions and millions and millions. And because we have had a
6.0
good run, the house
that has come
values have gone up tremendously.
15-year mortgage,
And
5.
these people have become wealthy.
It is coming down a
They
little
weren't
bit.
wealthy. They become wealthy because of their house. And every time you make it more and more and more affordable for somebody to buy a house cheaply, you're actually hurting the value of those houses.
Yeah, the past year,
one thing
30-year drop
works in tandem with the other. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt the value of people that own a house who, for the first time in their lives, are walking around the streets of whatever city they're in, very proud that their house is worth $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Now, if I want to really crush the housing market, I could do that so fast that people could buy houses, but you would destroy a lot of people that already have houses. In some cases, they've mortgaged their house, and the mortgage would be very low. And all of a sudden, the mortgage without any changes becomes very high, and they end up losing the house. I'm not going to hurt, and I speak with Scott, who's doing a fantastic job, and Howard, who's doing a fantastic job, and all of my people. And I always say, look, you know, I can crush the hell out of the market. We can drop interest rates to a level, and that's one thing we do want to do. That's natural. That's good for everybody. You know, the dropping of the interest rates, we should be paying a much lower interest rate than we are. We should be paying the lowest interest rate of any country in the world, because without the United States, you don't have a country. I mean, I had a case with Switzerland. We happened to be in Switzerland. Maybe I'll give you a quick story. But they were paying nothing. They make beautiful watches, great watches, Rolex, all of them. They were paying nothing to the United States when they sent their product in. And we had a $41 billion deficit. 41 billion with this beautiful place. Flew over it, isn't it nice? So I said, let's put a 30% tariff on them so that we get back some of it, not all of it at all. We still have a deficit, big deficit. We had 41 million. That's a big deficit. And I said, let's put a tariff on. Different tariffs, different places. You're all party to them. In some cases, victims to them. But in the end, it's a fair thing. And most of you realize that. But we put a 30% tariff on Switzerland, and all hell broke loose. They were calling, I mean, like you wouldn't believe. And I know so many people from Switzerland, incredible place, incredible, brilliant place. But I then realized that they're only good because of us. And there's so many other examples. I mean, us and probably other places, but a majority of the money they make is because of us, because we never charged them anything.
We'll check out.
They come in, they sell their watches.
We're going to close this
up. No tariffs, no nothing. They walk away, they make $41 billion on just us. So I said, no, we can't do that. So I'm going to bring it up. I still would have a deficit pretty substantial, but I brought it up to 30%. And I guess Prime Minister, I don't think President, I think Prime Minister called a woman, and she was very repetitive. She said, no, you cannot do that, 30%. You cannot do that. We are a small, small country. I said, yeah, but you have a big, big deficit. You may be small, but you have a bigger deficit than big countries. He said, no, please, you cannot do it. Kept saying the same thing over and over. We are a small country. I said, but you're a big country in terms of, and she just rubbed me the wrong way, I'll be honest with you.
Oh,
said, all right, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Do not do this. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I made it 39%. And then all hell really broke out. And I was paid visits by everybody. Rolex came to see me. They all came to see me. But I realized, and I reduced it, because I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt them. And we brought it down to a, lower level. Doesn't mean it's not going up. But we brought it down to a lower level. But they pay now, the tariff. But I realized that we have many places like that where they're making a fortune because of the United States. Without the United States, they wouldn't be making anything. Think of it. Switzerland made $41 billion on us. And as she said, it's a small place. And I realized with that, I don't know, it was so, because she was so aggressive. And I realized in that conversation that the United States is keeping the whole world afloat. Many places, I could give you 6, 7 places just in the people in this little area. I know every one of them. They're looking down. They don't want to see me, and they don't want to stare me in the eyes.
Right, well, I'm going to go potty.
Taking advantage of everybody took advantage of the United States. But I've been very fair, and I gave them a tariff, and it was fine. But I realized that without us, it's not Switzerland anymore. Without us, it's not any of the countries that are represented here. And we want to work with the countries. We want to work with them. We're not looking to destroy them. I could have said 39, 40%. I could have said I want a 70% tariff. Then we make money with Switzerland. But Switzerland would have been probably destroyed, financially destroyed. I don't want to do that. But we should be paying the lowest interest rate of everybody. I hope Scott's listening to this, because we should be paying the lowest interest rate of everybody. Without us, most of the countries don't even work. And then you have the protection factor. Without our military, which is the greatest in the world by far, without our military, you have threats that you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. You don't have threats because of us, and that's because of NATO.
All right, I'll be honest, guys. I've reached my limit of rambling Trump speech. All right, let's just check out the stock market, and then we're going to close this out. Okay. So let's look at the indices real quick. Everything's in the green. Everything's in the green. We got QQQ flat. We got VU up 0.3%. VTI, which includes small caps, up 0.39%. The Dow Jones. I mean, Trump said it was going to 50,000, right? It's the stock market, bro. Up 0.44%. VT, the Chad ETF, is up 0.53%. Total International is up 0.73%. We're so close to all-time highs again. Small caps are up 1%. And China MAGA is up 1.53%. Let's see how Crapto's doing here. All right. XRP, Solana, Cardano, Shiba is up. Bitcoin's basically flat on the day, trading at 89,600. Let's look at big tech. How's Netflix doing? Down 4.6%. Not too bad. I mean, it wasn't a bad earnings report. Most of big tech is down, but it's down pretty slightly. We got Tesla up slightly at 0.2% and NVIDIA up at 0.37%. So obviously the worst performer today is Netflix because of their horrible earnings. Let's see. Silver's up slightly. So unfortunately, Gil has not had his cheeks clapped today. Oil is up 1.67% and gold is up 2.37%. Are we? Yeah, we're at all-time highs for gold again. All-time highs, baby. All right. Let's see. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for the stock market. So we're mostly green today. It's not a vertical line day, but it's a solid start to the morning. Nothing crazy there. All right, let's do some last-minute comments, and then we're going to close this baby out. All right, we got 2 new members. We got Hello World, which he signed up yesterday, but for some reason he's here today. And we got another new member, Alex Charles. Remember, you need to be a member if you want me to answer your comments. But because Trump's speech went so long, we're only going to do a few member comments, and we're going to get out of here, okay? All right, we got Gil in the comments debating everybody. Okay, Gil's bragging about his gains. Trump said no military action in Greenland. See, what he said was, he said, we're not going to use force, but we're going to remember. If you say no, we're going to remember. There's an implied threat there. Yep, stock market's up a little bit. I'm asking Congress. It really feels to me like Trump is just a dictator. You know, like he just tells industry what to do. That's not the republic that we have had traditionally. He's more of like a fascist dictator where he allows private industry to exist, but he tells them what to do. And he can make quick and decisive action if he needs to. Maybe it's misguided. We'll see long run, but that is like an element of fascism. People are saying it's socialism. It's not socialism. Somebody says, buy the dip on Tattooed Chef. I wish Tattooed Chef was still around. I miss those days. I'm going to try to supercharge. You're going to supercharge me? Is that a threat, Gil? With $10 when YouTube allows me. I'm not lying that it glitched. It doesn't let me super chat anymore. Okay. I really want you to look up your BMI. Okay. $10 super chat. I'll do it, Gil. $10 super chat. I will put in my BMI. Please do not fluff how much muscle mass you have. Look, yeah, I probably am high on the BMI. I probably am. But the question is, like, what's the composition of my body? I can't risk my info leaking. Gil, it's private. Why? You want to become a public figure. You're making games that are going viral. Why are you so scared of your info leaking? My info's everywhere. If I really wanted to, I could probably find you, Gil, if I really wanted to. Okay? It's hard to hide. And if you're trying to make games and stuff and be, you know, somebody that's famous and rich, they're going to know who you are. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I liked most of the speech. They had a lot of masculine energy. I like masculine energy. I don't like feminine. I like a man. Oh, you're screwing me over? Well, that's a problem. I'm going to do something about it. You don't like it? You can complain. Shut your mouth. You're screwing me. That's masculine energy. I like it. No more corporations buying SFH, single-family homes. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And apparently we're capping credit card interest for a year. Conveniently, that's right before the midterms. Funny. Gil was here at the beginning. He's a good storyteller. That's why the plebes love him. They watch too many gangsters. He is hilarious. I laughed a lot during that. Is he still rambling on? Let me see. Let me see if he's still rambling. He's still talking. I mean, like, I can watch some of it. I can't sit here for like 3 hours and just watch him like ramble about Switzerland's watches and tariffs. All right, guys. Well, welcome the 2 new members. I'm going to go to the gym, have lunch, and then we will do the Daily Clown Report. We're going to react to a Ben Felix video where he roasts a bunch of clown ETFs, which are pretty, I actually agree with him on that one. Let's see. I like how he clowned Macron for wearing the sun. If you wear sunglasses indoors, you're just a douche. Okay, it's not cool. You're not cool, bro. That's for like a 20-year-old. By the way, if you didn't read, his GDP numbers are correct. 5.5% growth in Q4 is the estimate. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. I will say I did not expect that. Andrew, your inverse Gil is terrible today. Mike Dave Short will pay. Thanks. All right. Well, you guys you can keep debating in the comments, but I'm about to go work out. I'm going to go do the Stairmaster. Anyway, like, subscribe. Consider joining as a member to support the channel. Also consider booking a free, and I mean free, 30-minute tax consultation. I do business and or personal taxes any state in the United States. You can talk to me for free. I give you upfront fixed quotes, and I'll do your taxes like a boss. You can book the consultation by clicking the link in the pinned comment below at the conclusion of this live stream. Cheers!